Hi, I'm Ben. I'm Head of Creative at Duffs Jewellers, and
I'm Anthony, Head Buyer and Manager at Duffs Jewellers.
Cool. What are we going to talk about in episode 2 of Pull Back the Curtain, Ant?
Yeah, episode 2, New Year 2024.
Yes.
We thought we would probably start with the beautiful green stone emerald.
Emeralds. One of the big 3.
One of the big 3, one of the most popular coloured stones going around. It's been the most popular green stone for the last 5,000 years.
Oh, well, there you go. Although it's a little bit in the wilderness at the minute, isn't it, emerald? You know, compared to ruby and sapphire. But so I think it's nice to maybe shine a torch on it for a couple of minutes.
Yep, light it up.
Yeah. So I guess we'd start with what's emerald. So you know, it's effectively a chemical composition, and I've had to write it down because I forgot from my demo days. But it's beryllium aluminium silicate oxide, otherwise known as beryl. That's the host mineral for emerald, isn't it? Fun fact: did you know? You know, because you're a gemologist.
Hopefully, I know. Yep.
If beryl is coloured light blue, we call it aquamarine.
We do.
It's the same stuff as emerald. If it's that nice sort of peachy pink, we call it morganite. And if it's green, we call it emerald. So it's
similar stone, different colour.
Similar stone, different colour. So emerald specifically gets its colour from trace elements of other minerals that get into the crystal when it's being formed. So not to get too techie, but they call them allochromatic stones. So the beryl, the host mineral, it's actually colourless. So it's all of these trace elements that get into the stone that create the green.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is chromium, I think, isn't it?
Chromium delivers the best green, I'm told. That's the really bright popping green. And those stones typically are found out of Colombia. Colombia's been known since day dot producing the world's finest emerald, and because of the high amount of chromium in the stones, you get the beautiful grass green. And I'm told that they produce the more pure crystal, so not as many inclusions as some other countries, but
very high quality and very pure, like most things out of Colombia.
Yeah, like their coffee. You mean coffee that you add? Yeah.
Yep.
Brazil, they produce quite a bit of emerald, very similar to the Colombian material, probably a little bit darker in colour. But again, Brazil, they punch above their weight with gems, don't they? You remember back in the day, you do your gemological exams and they say, where do you find a da-da-da? And if you went to Brazil, you've always got the answer.
Never got a dry well.
True.
Brazil.
Yeah. And I'll tell you another country that is producing some really nice emerald is Zambia. But it looks different from the Colombian material. It's a darker body colour. It's pretty clean material, but it's almost got like a blue hue to it. I think we might have a couple of Zambian emeralds in the store at the minute.
I think we do.
Yeah. So horses for courses. I still think personally the Colombian emerald in the high quality, it's really hard to beat because it's just so bright, and it performs beautifully on the finger. But the Zambian material, it definitely has its place. I've just written down here there's product coming out of Russia, Afghanistan, even Australia, but I don't think it's in huge commercial quantities. I think the big 3 are Colombia, Zambia, and Brazil.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess like one of the big things when you do go into jewellery stores nowadays is you look at a natural emerald and it's not always the brightest green, has a lot of marks inside it, and then the salesperson might show you like a created emerald.
Yes.
And not only are you paying a lot less for the created emerald, generally the colour does look a little bit better.
Yeah. It's it's interesting you touch on the like the inclusions, the purity, and unless you're buying into really top-notch material, emeralds typically are fairly included. It's part of their personality, though. Jardin. Yeah, great word. And it's that's actually. Translated from French, I think it means garden, doesn't it? So you look into the stone and it looks like a little garden. My feeling is people perhaps haven't seen a lot of natural emeralds recently, so it's often perceived as being a little bit flawed or not faulty, but it doesn't look like what people perceive a natural emerald would look like, but it's just how they are.
Yeah, I think a while ago, back in, say, the 90s, there was a lot of natural emerald around, because that's when Jeremy Markovich was rocking the emerald stud.
He was,
general manager.
Wasn't he? He loved it. Yes, the emerald
stud. Taking it out now, but that was one of his most popular pieces he used to wear.
He's still got it in the fourth drawer down.
No, I think
it might come out for the Christmas party.
Could.
On the inclusions in emeralds, what's perhaps not commonly known is that most natural emeralds are actually treated with oil, with cedar oil, and it's a common practice. It's accepted throughout the trade, but cedar oil is essentially soaked into the stone, and what it does is it tends to disguise the jardin look a little bit. And
makes it a bit cleaner.
Makes it a bit cleaner. Again, questions that we get is, does oiling affect the value of the stone? And I suppose it improves the colour, but an unoiled emerald is, if it's of the same purity, is going to go for a lot more than an oiled stone. So on the oiling of emeralds, it's an accepted practice. At Duffs, any natural emerald we buy, we view that as being an oiled stone, unless it comes with certification that states that it hasn't been oiled. And in fact, we brought one in for a client last month, I think it was, and it came with a beautiful certificate, and they tested the stone. There was no surface reaching inclusion, so the stone couldn't have been oiled, and it was stated on the certificate. The other cool thing, I don't know if you saw that cert, but they stated the age of the emerald, and it was like 255 million years old. So it was really cool. Yeah, happy birthday. We'll leave the oiling shortly, but I understand that is it a colleague of yours?
Colleague, yeah.
Shall we call him Anthony? Took an oiled emerald in?
Yeah, an oiled emerald, a beautiful ring. Customer came in that purchased overseas. Just wanted it clean while she was doing some shopping around the centre.
Yep.
So as you do, you accommodate.
As we do.
In the ultrasonic.
Your colleague Anthony did.
The colleague did, yeah,
yes.
I didn't.
No,
the colleague did.
Yes, the colleague.
Put it in the ultrasonic, give it a nice clean. As you do, you do other things as the ring's being clean. Come back, take the ring out of the ultrasonic, and where it was like a really nice saturated green, it had actually appeared to have a few little white sort of rivers going through the stone. So, Jardin. So looking at the stone, giving it a wipe with a cloth, hoping that will remove. The colleague did. But it didn't, unfortunately. Customer came back into the store,
yes,
looked at the ring and goes, I love it.
Loved it. Loved the Jardin.
I love the Jardin. It makes it more natural, a more natural feel to the ring. So yeah, my colleague, cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Your colleague Anthony, yes, very good. You could let your colleague know you can re-oil them quite easily. It's a very simple practice. So you just soak them in a bit of cedar oil and
The colleague was very young back then, so but he did learn a valuable lesson.
Excellent. A bit on prices. Emerald, they're a tricky one. Every stone is different, but like most things in nature, I suppose, size is king. So, big stones trade for, considerable money. The smaller, lower quality stones are still quite affordable. I always take it back to rarity and beauty when, I kind of look at these things. The value set against sapphire and ruby, emeralds are not really quite there, but the crystal does lend itself to bigger gems than sapphire and ruby. So
it's hexagonal.
It is in the hexagonal crystal system. Tick. Well done. Where did you dredge that from? 1997 or something?
Last night I had a look at it.
You might have had a little look. Yeah. But I've got, I did a sort of a rough price list the other day just to sort of keep my eye in, and I could see once you get up to say around a carat and a half, the price does tend to climb fairly high. So for a really good stone around a carat, they trade up to about $15,000. So, they're kind of giving diamonds a run for their money, aren't they?
Definitely.
And then some.
I think most coloured stones do, and maybe people don't understand that because it is the rarity factor.
Well, that's true, isn't it? They're rarer than diamonds.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Even, I looked, I took it up to around about 2 carats, and, based off even what we call a C-grade stone, so a Jardin stone, and possibly not a Colombian stone. I mean, they're still trading $10,000, $11,000, and they go right up to about $45,000. So it's probably not something that everyone's aware of, how rare these things actually.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, hence I suppose it's why we view emerald as a precious gem as opposed to semi-precious.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Wearability of emerald, that was another note that I had.
Very important.
Thoughts?
Yeah, lots of inclusion, so they do have the capacity to crack and chip quite easily.
Yep.
Hence the emerald cut.
Yes.
Is developed because the setters were taking the corners off them when they were cutting.
Yes, yeah. So the crystal lends itself to a rectangle shaped gem, but apparently the cutters were often knocking the corners off by accident, so they deliberately just take the corners off now. So hence the emerald cut was born. The crystal itself, emerald crystal, is actually quite hard. We have a scale of hardness we use, and it's 7.5 to 8 out of 10. But I think where emerald probably gets a bit of a bad rap is because of the nature of the crystal. With the inclusions, there's a brittleness factor to it. So I guess a stone that has a lot of inclusions is going to be a little bit more prone to chipping than a very pure stone.
Sure. Which we remind our customers. I think all of the beryl stones, we do remind them that it's not a diamond, so you do have to wear it a little bit more carefully. But especially emerald because of the inclusions.
Yeah. So that's where the lab-grown emeralds would be an option too, I suppose. If you wanted to wear your jewellery a little harder, the lab-grown emeralds are essentially pure stones. There's very, very few inclusions in them, so that would be perhaps a good alternative in some cases.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't have the rarity factor of the natural, but the colour's nice.
Colour's very nice.
Yeah, that sort of deeper green. It's not a Colombian colour, it's more that Zambian look, isn't it? Yeah, good stuff. Popularity of emeralds.
Well,
what are your thoughts currently?
Currently, probably not as much. Cleopatra was into them, like she started it off with her mines in Egypt. But since then, look, they've been linked with sort of a lot of royalty, and I guess price-wise, you know, if you do want a really nice Colombian piece, it is going to cost you a fair bit of money. But I think it all just comes down to colour with people.
Yeah.
Like we said before, Jeremy loves green.
He does. That earring just, you know, it pops.
It pops. But yeah, some people, it's I guess their most favourite stone. It is the May birth stone, so you get a lot of people come in maybe around May when their birthdays are on to buy them. But probably not as much as your ruby.
No.
The cousin morganite and aquamarine, in terms more popular.
Correct. Yeah, in terms of the beryl mineral, the aqua and morganite far more popular. I feel that emerald's just been in the wilderness for over a decade. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's got a bad rap due to the brittleness or what it is. But like a lot of these things, it all goes around in a big circle. So you know, I would hope that it would make a meaningful comeback at some stage. But I suppose we'll just wait and see.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for all that information on emeralds, Ben. So
Good-o.
If that was informative to people out there, if you want to give us a thumbs up.
A like and
subscribe, that would be good. Or if you want to leave any comments or ask any questions, that's great.
Yep.
Great to be back. 2024, like we're going to have upcoming shows on also the other two big gems, Sapphire and Ruby.
Ruby, yep.
And then of course we will have our Hong Kong trip coming up soon.
Yes,
which we will pull back the curtain and let everyone see.
Good-o. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Me too.
All
Cheers.
right. Here's cheers.
Here's to emeralds and Cleopatra.